Dow, Kreinheider, Gellerson, Warenberg. These are names, Valpo names. Names that span generations. Names that are also places, Valpo places.
Guild, Memorial, Brandt, Duesenberg. We know them because we lived here, and studied here, and played here.
Late at night, early in the morning, on a spring weekend, under a foot of lake-effect snow.
The names echo across years, decades, centuries, even if their bricks and mortar no longer stand. Hughley, Mollering, Kinsey.
Their names echo with light ever brighter into the future.
Their names echo the light.
In thy light we see light.
And we hear their pulse, the spirit pulsing with light, like light through tall stained glass spilling on stone, red and green and yellow and blue, spilling a marble table with the color of light, a plate broken with bread, a cup brimming with wine. The names walk an aisle of a chapel called Resurrection, on a weekend called Homecoming. They sing, oh how they sing, of ages past. Time, like an ever-rolling stream, soon bears us all away. These names they sing, and we hear them, voices from a past that has become our past, a passion that has become our purpose.
Because the name is also a place where Athens meets Jerusalem, a place called the Vale of Paradise. This place, called Valparaiso.
I never met O.P. Kretzmann face to face. I never heard him speak out loud. But I hear his voice echo through the years. I hear his words hallow these halls. Even in a climate of peril and war, the university must continue its twofold task.
The search for truth and the transmission of truth, free and unbroken.
And little did we know that when we first signed that honor code, an honor would be given to us, much larger and much higher than those 15 words.
The honor of truth, given and received and shared, free and unbroken.
The honor of truth that sets us free, science with wisdom, knowledge with understanding, freedom with faith.
This is the lifelong honor code of which we sing. Hail to the brown and gold, we pledge thee to uphold, wherever we may be, thy honored name.
I never heard him speak, but I hear the voice of O.P. Kretzmann hallow these halls, and the voices of Schnabel and Hari and Heckler.
It is the voice of my favorite professor, how they gave me a lifetime of learning. It is the voices of Songfest and Caroling Night. It is burning midnight oil at the torch, or the beacon, or WVUR.
It is the freshman beanies and the freshman production, 7-week rush, and Sunday waffles.
It is the victory bell rung at high noon,
or the kissing bridge at midnight.
It is an oak tree we call Merlin that stands to this day.
It is the lifelong honor code of truth, free and unbroken.
It is the never-ending flame of a torch in the night, the fire at the entrance that welcomes us back to this place, this Valparaiso. This fire in our hearts that pushes us to see thy future light.
And welcome back to Tune Into the Valpo Experience here on VUTV. I'm Brendan Johnson. We've just made it through our first hour of Valpo Days, so we want to just thank all the people that are out and about today, either volunteering here on campus or who are, offering their words of encouragement and support from around the country and around the world. It is truly it's just great to be here, and we're just so thrilled to be supporting our school so much. The next hour, or half hour rather, that we're going to be talking about is the College of Business. It's in the top 5% internationally. Vigorous programs, a lot of student activities involved with this college. One that I'm quite familiar with is Delta Sigma Pi. It's their business fraternity. I serve as the volunteer coordinator over at Cafe Manna at St. Teresa's Catholic Church here. And they come in and they volunteer with us. So these people are getting a business education and learning how to be successful in the world of business without sacrificing their integrity. They're still getting that faith and service component here at Valpo that makes it so unique. And one of the programs that helps really do this is our MBA program. It's one of the most rigorous in the nation and locally. offering our students immense opportunities and getting them the greatest experience they have. And we have a video to show you all about that.
Valpo MBA is proud to be Valpo. Housed in Urschel Hall, we prepare students to be values-based leaders. The VU MBA is AACSB accredited, the highest level of quality in business education. In addition, we've been ranked by Princeton Review and U.S. News. By working directly with companies, students gain experience to put on their resumes. And in addition, they have the opportunity to earn more money than they would with just a bachelor degree.
I am proud to be in the MBA program because it gives me first-hand interactions with businesses, which gives me professional experience.
The full-time global MBA can be completed in as little as 1 year with a general business concentration. Study abroad is included in tuition.
I'm proud to be a Valpo full-time global MBA student because of the opportunity that we just had to go to Germany and experience international business and culture. I chose Valpo because of the flexibility I had to serve as a coach on the women's soccer staff while pursuing my education full-time.
For more information about the Valpo MBA, visit us at valpo.edu/MBA or contact us at mba@valpo.edu.
And I think one of the things that many people across campus will attest to is just the involvement of our faculty, that one-on-one instruction, getting close with our faculty members here on campus, really giving them a one-of-a-kind education here at Valpo. You know, you kind of talk to your professors after class. Class sizes are small, so you get to have that kind of close personal relationship with your instructors, professors, advisors, that really kind of add to this awesome education that we're able to get here at Valpo. Specifically in the College of Business, it's no different. Students get that one-on-one instruction which lead them into incredible careers in the field of business. One of those professors, Professor Sanjay Kumar, tells us a little bit about what his role is in the College of Business and what makes him proud to be Valpo as a professor in the College of Business.
I'm Dr. Sanjay Kumar. I'm Associate Professor of Information and Decision Sciences. I research managing disruptions or managing decisions when things go wrong in supply chains. Let's say you had a supplier in China and the supplier has gone bankrupt, and suppose that was the only supplier for some of the items that your product needs. Other disruptions could come from as simple as a plant fire, as simple as a transportation accident. So I study supply chains when these kind of events happen and how to manage these events. Specifically, the events of 9/11 made me interested in this. Everybody understood the human consequences, but there was something else that was going on. That was the financial consequences for companies and country. Not only companies within US, but across the world. It's estimated that it cost $3.3 trillion. So it's very consequential, and we need to understand how companies operate, how they are interrelated, and how can we make decisions that can shield them from these kind of events. One important factor at College of Business is to create value-based leaders, and globalization is also an important factor. So a lot of courses, a lot of assignments, teaching cases are based so that they understand what is ethical, what is not ethical, how are decisions going to impact the society in general. If you're focusing on short-term decisions, it's probably based more on your personal gains rather than the societal gains. So if you're looking at decisions that will be good for long term, you're looking more for the society, which is important considering the value-based leaders that we want to create. This place is very good to be a faculty. It provides a lot of freedom. It provides a collegial environment. It provides good opportunities to interact and collaborate with other faculty.
And again, we're talking about that one-on-one interaction with our faculty. You know, they mean so much to the students here. They interact with us, you know, as compared to other universities. We really kind of get that one-of-a-kind interaction with our, our mentors and these people that give us this one-of-a-kind education. Amy Vanderhayden has now made her way over to Urschel Hall, where the College of Business is located. And she is actually going to be talking with the Dean of the College of Business. So Amy, tell us a little bit about why Dean Brodninsky is proud to be Valpo and all the different things that the College of Business is doing. Amy? And welcome back. You know, we're going to try and fix those audio issues that we're having with our live view system right now. But again, we're still on the topic of the one-of-a-kind interaction with, you know, our faculty members. And we do have another professor video coming on up. Jim Stuck is a professor in the College of Business. You know, the interaction that you get, you know, with these mentors, with these advisors, you know, I speak as a meteorology student. It's kind of incredible. They're willing to go above and beyond and welcome you into the university. Back when I was just between junior and senior year of high school, our current department chair of the meteorology department actually came in on her own time from picking blueberries, actually, to talk a little bit about what the program entailed and to welcome me in there. And you know, College of Business students get that kind of experience too. You know, all of our faculty are willing to reach out to our prospective students or our visitors to tell them a little bit about the successes of the program, what they do, and how they train our students to lead in both church and society here at Valpo. So we want to show you a little bit about College of Business professor Jim Stuck.
My name is Professor Jim Stuck, Professor of Management and International Business. I think Valparaiso University and its Lutheran values set the tone for us at the College of Business as well, where learning together with the students is almost as important as the teaching process. One of the pleasant surprises when I came in from the corporate world to teaching was to find out that teaching isn't just this dry transfer of information, kind of an information dump, so to speak, but it's more like fanning the flames, fanning the passions that the students have. A lot of that basically comes about with the one-on-one contact. When you find out what the hot buttons are for the students, what their hopes and dreams and aspirations are, then you can do a lot more in putting them in contact with people or helping them toward their goals. All the faculty, they're all good teachers and they care about students, but I appreciate particularly how they're very active outside of the academic world and in how they pull students into their consulting or their work with nonprofits as well. So they're engaged in their profession as well as in teaching and guiding students.
Now, just so you guys know, the College of Business offers, you know, programs in accounting, business analytics, finance, international business management, marketing, and a variety of minor programs. Another one of the components of the College of Business is our study abroad opportunities. For example, in Reutlingen, Germany, there's actually an opportunity to participate in a business internship overseas. So we're actually bringing in not only like a local business perspective, but also kind of giving that international perspective to students. So it's kind of just a full circle, giving these students, you know, just this one-of-a-kind educational experience, learning all these business, you know, practicals and just practices and really kind of ingraining that into them after they graduate Valpo. So we're very proud to have our College of Business here, and we thank them for their support today. We're going to toss to a break real quick, and we'll be back here within the next 2 to 3 minutes, continuing the Tune Into the Valpo experience.
It lives deep in your soul, driving everything you do. It's what wakes you up early and keeps you up late. It's already inside you, where it's always been, waiting to be developed, informed, trained. The way you see the world is powerful, but the way you will lead and transform it is what we're all waiting for. Valparaiso University, where passion meets purpose.
And welcome back to Tune Into the Valpo Experience here on VUTV. I'm Brendan Johnson. Right now we're talking about the College of Business, that one of a kind of experience with the faculty, with the students, and just all of the different programs that are offered through the College of Business. We're talking about the majors and minors that are in that program: accounting, business analytics, finance, that international business component, management, and marketing. We have a lot of students that go forward and leading into incredible careers and kind of keeping that integrity while still being successful in the area of business. And again, one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves here at Valpo is giving that international experience, that kind of global perspective. So we're able to send students overseas, into Germany, into England, Costa Rica, our study center in China, giving students this kind of real-world experience and just this international component that really gets them prepped, specifically with international business. Kind of putting them in that kind of a setting so that they're able to use those skills that they learn overseas with that adjustment and put it into practice when they go into their careers. In just a couple of minutes here, we're going to have the Dean of the College of Business, Jim Broninsky, is going to join us. But I want to call your attention right now to the Twitter feed that we have going at the bottom of the screen. We're asking our viewers to engage with us on Twitter. If you tweet at ValpoU, the Valparaiso University Twitter account, you can actually enter into our Twitter line that's actually being broadcast at the bottom of the screen here on campus on Channel 15. So anything that is with the label of @ValpoU or which has hashtag Valpo Day will actually come up on our Twitter server and our system and actually run across the bottom of the screen. So we want you to engage with us. Also, take some pictures. Let us know that you are watching us. Let us know, take pictures. Let us know that you're watching and engaging with our community. We want to show your involvement and show the world kind of what makes you so proud to be Valpo. Well, I was saying that the Dean of the College of Business is joining us, and he is here now. Welcome. And, we want to talk about, what the great things that students do in the College of Business, and, kind of just provide our viewers a little bit of an overview of kind of the, the things that students that leave the College of Business go on to do.
Sounds good. Well, first let me say that the College of Business is accredited by AACSB, which is the world's premier business accreditation organization. There are 5% of the business schools in the world are accredited, about 25% in the United States. So that's sort of a hallmark of quality, and that's sort of the beginning. Once our students get here, though, we believe in quite a high-touch operation. We want our students to be successful. We want them to be engaged. We want them to have impact in their community when they graduate, and we want them to be innovators. So we see this as an opportunity to give students a chance to not only learn the content of business, but actually to apply it. And so that's what we're about in this school.
Sure, and if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about your path to Valpo.
Okay, I got my start out of school. I was a consultant for Arthur Andersen for a short period of time. I went into retailing in the Washington, D.C. area before I began my academic career on the East Coast. And after a few years there, I moved to the Midwest. I was at Xavier in Ohio, and then St. Xavier in Chicago. Then I saw the opportunity of Valpo. And I'd heard quite a bit about Valpo over the years. My daughters had friends who'd come here, and they had talked about how great it was. So when I saw this opportunity, I thought I really need to explore it. And I visited the campus, got to meet the people here, the staff, the students, other faculty, and it turned out to be sort of an ideal fit for me.
Sure, and if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about, we're hearing about an entrepreneurship program that you guys are putting on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, we've been working on it for about 3 years now, and our goal is to have an entrepreneurship center up and running sometime in the next few months. The Dean of the College of Engineering, Eric Johnson, and I have been working on this. What we're trying to do is create a center where we can mix students with local entrepreneurs as well as faculty and staff. And what's unique about this, it's a campus-wide venture. It's not just limited to the College of Business and the College of Engineering, but it's for the entire campus. So if we have students who are in let's say music, and they want to learn about starting their own business that's music related, well, this will be an opportunity for them to meet with people who can help them formulate the plan, the idea, and test its marketability.
Sure.
All right, and Dean Brzezinski, can you talk about some of the other programs, like the entrepreneurship, great program for the entire campus, but what programs are available for those business students in the College of Business that we've seen excel in the past few years?
Okay, well, the number one program we have right now in terms of student enrollment is finance. As you can imagine, it's something that people are always interested in, and we've got a very, very good finance program here. We have faculty who have both practical and academic experience, and so that's where we see the majority of our students going. Most recently, though, we started our business analytics minor and major, and that has had a fantastic start. We're very optimistic that that's going to be one of our leading programs, because big data is what people are interested in right now. And it's a growth area. The projection for jobs in the future are in the hundreds of thousands, so we see that as a way to get our students prepared for the next generation of workers.
And you talk about those students, and we know that through the AACSB that the College of Business is ranked in the top 5% globally for business colleges. So talk about how you guys have been able to achieve that ranking.
Well, it's a matter of taking a close look at what we do, how we do our programs, how we ensure that our faculty are qualified and continue to be qualified. They have to do some scholarship. They have to interact with their peers in their respective professions. So we know that their knowledge base is state of the art.
Sure, and how would you say, today being Valpo Day, how are the gifts that are coming in for Valpo Day going to support the College of Business?
Well, the primary use for our gifts are travel, really. We have students who go to competitions. They go regional competitions and national, where they manage to do quite well. I mean, we earn many first place votes. We use that money to supplement their travel so that they can afford to go to these events. We have faculty going to conferences. But also we use the money for stuff like this entrepreneurship center. Part of the way we are going to fund the activities there is through gifts to the Dean's Fund.
Sure, and you would say travel is a big component in the College of Business?
It is a big component. Because we have to get out, and we take our students to meet companies in Chicago, for example. We had a group go last week go to Allstate, and so we need this little extra support to help us.
Sure, and we have to ask Amy. It's the question of the day. Why are you proud to be Valpo?
I'm proud to be Valpo because the students. I mean, we have the best students of any place I've ever worked. I'm just constantly amazed at how active they are, both in their classroom, but also in what they give back, the service they do. It is such a, I'm so proud to be affiliated with these students. When I have them, I had a few at my National Council meeting last week. And I was so proud at the way they could answer the questions and show that not only did they learn what we want them to learn, but they're practicing what we wanted them to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you would want to share with the community about the College of Business and all of the great things that you guys do?
Well, one of our hallmarks, we have a couple really. One is that all of our students, when they start, go through a process we call an assessment center, where we look at what are called their soft skills, their ability to communicate, to work in groups, to time manage, and they get an analysis of their abilities there, and then we repeat that process their senior year to show how much growth they've had. So it's really a really good diagnostic tool, but it gives them a path to success when they graduate.
Awesome. Well, Dean Brzezinski, thank you so much for coming on the program today and supporting the College of Business and letting us know all about it. We really appreciate it. We're going to go to a break right now before we get into Valpo research and all the opportunities that students are granted during the school year and over the summer about finding out the newest and latest, greatest things in their fields of study. Stick with us.
I had a heart then, but the queen has been overthrown, and I am not sleeping now. The dark is too hard to beat.
All right.
It lives deep in your soul, driving everything you do. It's what wakes you up early and keeps you up late. It's already inside you, where it's always been, waiting to be developed, informed, trained. The way you see the world is powerful, but the way you will lead and transform it is what we're all waiting for. Valparaiso University, where passion meets purpose.
And welcome back to the Valpo Day of Giving. Tuning into the Valpo Experience here on VUTV. I'm joined now by Professor Heath Carter, who's been kind of given this opportunity to kind of perform some university research. So Heath, welcome so much. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Tell us a little bit about the research that you're doing.
Sure. Well, actually, I just finished a book this year called Union Made. Just came out in September, and it's all about basically Chicago during the kind of era of the Industrial Revolution, and it looks at these questions about during this era, what people call the Gilded Age. I don't know if you remember this from high school history class.
Yeah.
During the Gilded Age, basically, great gap between the rich and the poor, and so my book looks at how did the churches respond in the midst of that, and what did they have to say to the kind of rising disparities between the wealthy and the poor. So it's been a lot of fun. I've had this year I've been the university research professor, which comes with an opportunity to teach a little bit less so that you can dive into new research and think about some new ideas. So this fall I visited a number of archives and was able to start working actually on a new project, which I'll be continuing to plow ahead on in the years to come, about kind of the larger intersection of Christianity and justice in American history.
Sure. Tell us this kind of new project, like what are kind of some of the specifics that you'll be working on? What are kind of the, the opportunity that the university has kind of bestowed upon you, but like what are some of the specifics that might even impact students here at Valpo?
Sure. I teach a lot here at Valpo. I teach a wide variety of courses in modern U.S. history. A lot of them have to do with issues of race and class and gender. So right now I'm teaching a course on the social gospel in American life, and we read everything from the histories of abolition and the labor movement. Right now we're reading a book about kind of the civil rights movement. So all this kind of stuff is the stuff of this next book. It's going to pick up in the era right around the Civil War and basically kind of follow the story about how, for some Christians in the United States, it came to seem that sin was not just personal but social. Sure. And so your faith might call you to not only be a better person, but also to get involved in the wider world. So I'm studying a variety of kinds of Christians who have felt called by their faith into social struggles. So I think that relates to students here in the sense, it's what I'm teaching in a course like the Social Gospel in American Life. It's also, we talk about a lot of these kinds of issues. I'm teaching another course called Hip Hop America. Teach courses on American utopias and a lot of courses that deal with kind of issues of social injustice and social reform. So I tell my students when I'm teaching these courses that in many cases the conversations I'm having with them are really helping me to think better about the chapter that I might be writing at that point on the labor movement or on civil rights or whatnot. So I think it's related to the classroom environment, but it's also related to what students are doing outside of the classroom. Last year I took, I was part of a large group of faculty and staff. We went with 52 total people down to Selma, Alabama, and were able to participate in a weekend-long celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Bloody Sunday March in 1965. Sure. So, I find our students are really interested in questions about how should we live together in the world, how do we, how should we think about the world's problems, and what can we do to kind of be a part of the solution. So,
and do you think that, and we were kind of talking a little bit earlier about, MLK Day, some of the diversity initiatives that the university is taking on. Do you think that, the university is kind of addressing these and, that's kind of coming through in our kind of way of, curriculum?
Yeah, I think one of the things, I actually just tweeted it out before coming on, I think one of the things that I most love about being here at Valpo, one of the things that makes me most proud to be Valpo is the fact that I do think we're a place that forms students to care about the world and to serve the world and the church in the world. And so, I see, MLK Day is obviously like a big kind of slam dunk event where this is the entire focus of the day. But I think one of the most satisfying things for me as a faculty member is to see students come in who are, they come in one place and they leave in another. I think of one student who is a senior this year, who when I met him as a freshman, he came to Selma with me. He was kind of a quiet guy who was coming from the southwest side of Chicago and didn't know exactly what life would hold. And 4 years later, he's getting ready to graduate and has such a passion and more than that, knowledge and leadership ability. He wants to go back to his community on the southwest side of Chicago and kind of take what he's learned here back there. I think of another student who, came to Valpo, participated in the CAPS Fellowship program. Great program that offers students real-world experience and kind of service out in the world. And that guy who graduated last year just got a job with Lutheran Services of America, working in Washington, D.C., working on this kind of stuff. So, I love, I think we do a fantastic job here of forming students to really lead and serve in the church and in the world.
Okay, and we are sitting, for those of you that are just joining us now, we are sitting with Professor Heath Carter from the Department of History. We're kind of just talking a little bit about diversity, kind of this, faith-based component of our curriculum here at Valpo. And you know what, I kind of want to go back to, you said you were kind of teaching this hip-hop course.
Yeah.
And kind of, how does that kind of apply into this, kind of way of, this kind of curriculum that we're doing?
Yeah.
Or just tell us a little bit about it. It
yeah,
kind of sounds fun.
It's such a fun class.
Yeah.
It's a great class. Obviously, this is the first time I think that it's been offered here at the university this spring, and it was so popular that we actually added a second section of it. it booked up right away. So I'm teaching 2 sections of it. And, it's a class that deals with really serious issues. That's what, for faculty, it's the trick. You give a course a title to bring people in, and then when they get in, they realize this is actually a course about serious issues. So we've been, exploring the history of the genre. It goes back to the late 1970s, and it really came out of the Bronx and came out of this kind of poor neighborhood in New York City, and started off as kind of just a house party thing, and DJs playing music for their friends, and then it was really in the 1980s that it got to be a big deal. So, I mean, as we've been going through kind of the history, we've also been thinking about big questions about, is hip-hop good for American society? I mean, yesterday we talked about, a lot of people say, well, hip-hop is actually really bad for black people. That was the topic of yesterday's class, and we've discussed what should we think about this? And I think a lot of the students in the class, and I think myself too, think that hip-hop, like any genre of music, is very diverse internally. Sure. So hip-hop is not just one thing,
Sure.
So, it's really been a great opportunity, in my view, to explore modern U.S. history through the lens of this musical form, and think about everything from consumer culture and, like I said, issues of race and class and gender that are so important in our modern society. Hip-hop is kind of a great window in.
Sure.
So yeah,
Sure.
we've been having a good time in there.
Absolutely. And you know what? We could keep sitting here all day talking about all the great things that professors like you that are kind of just putting into our students. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and kind of talk about Valpo research. Professors that are granted that opportunity, students who are granted that opportunity, and kind of that connection between faculty and students. So we'll be right back.
Valparaiso University, where passion meets purpose.
You're watching Channel 15 VUTV, Valparaiso, Indiana. And welcome back to the VU Day of Giving, specifically the Tune Into the Valpo experience here on VUTV. I'm Brendan Johnson, joined by Professor Heath Carter from the Department of History. We're kind of talking about faculty research and research in general here at Valpo. What is so significant about it, and how does it kind of correlate with kind of our core values?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think research is a very exciting part of what any university is about, but I think at Valparaiso University in particular, what makes it so resonant with our core mission is the fact that we talk about being a place where people are pursuing the truth, and I think that research is one way that we do that. It's how we, it's how we pursue knowledge and understanding of the world. It's not just about retrieving facts. I mean, that's not really fundamentally what I'm doing or what many of my colleagues are doing. We're not just trying to retrieve facts and put together timelines. We're trying to promote better understanding and a sense of how have people, for historians in particular, how have people lived in the past? And I think at this university, the way I teach and the way I write, it's often a question of what can we learn from how people have lived in the past. And the question of how should we live in the world today is always not far away. So I think for Valpo to be contributing to not just this community's understanding and pursuit of the truth, but also the wider world. I mean, that's one of the things that's been really fun about publishing this book, Union Made, this year, has been that I was just in Boston over the weekend, and I gave 2 talks at a kind of big church in Boston about these issues of Christianity and economic inequality, and what should we think about these things. So for me and for many of my colleagues who are doing excellent research, it's about taking the truth that we're pursuing here and kind of sharing it with others around the world.
Sure.
So I think about the work that my colleagues are doing. My colleague Bob Elder just published a book called The Sacred Mirror, which is all about kind of Christianity in the South during the time of slavery and looking at the ways that the roles that the churches played. We often think about the churches as being involved with abolition, which is true, but the churches were also very much caught up in slavery itself. So he's published a very important book on that topic. My colleague Luis Ramos, who's our Latin American historian who came last year, he's writing what's going to be a fantastic book, make a big splash about U.S.-Mexico relations and how should we think about historically the relationship between U.S. and Mexico. A lot of talk about the United States as kind of what has our role in the world been? Are we the good guys? Are we the bad guys? Is it a little bit of a mix of both? Luis's book is going to help us puzzle through that.
Sure.
Our chair, Kevin Ostojic, just published an article on the Shanghai Jews, which is a project that he did with another colleague, Professor Yun Xia, and students. They went to Shanghai a couple years ago, and we're using this opportunity to not only do research, but also to get students involved in that research, and they've just published an article out of that. So people are just doing outstanding work, and I think we are doing our best, at least in small ways, to contribute to knowledge and to understanding.
And what's great is that we have a professor here on the set, so I want to we were kind of talking a little bit earlier about it, the one-on-one student interaction with the faculty, how, it's different here at Valpo, and I mean, in my own experience as a MET major, we have a great faculty up in the MET department in KCH, that go out of their way to make sure that we understand the fundamentals of meteorology.
Yeah.
How does that apply to the history department, and specifically, kind of you? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, that's one of my, so many favorite things about Valpo. One of my, this is another one of my favorite things about Valpo is that, we get the opportunity to really get to know our students. And we really have a chance to get to know them personally and to be, personally involved in their lives, not just in teaching them and giving lectures, but also getting to know them both inside and outside of the classroom. I often have students over to dinner at my house toward the end of the semester. I have the whole class over, which is a really fun way to have them kind of get to know me and get to know my family. I'm also involved I advise the Brothers Reaching Out ministry group from the chapel, and so great chance to get to know some guys and to talk not only about history with them but also about their faith. So for me, this is one of the best parts of being at Valpo, is just the chance to really get to be a part of students' everyday lives.
Awesome, awesome. We're going to continue this conversation in just a moment. We're going to talk about kind of Professor Carter's involvement with the city's Human Relations Council and maybe how that kind of impacts the teaching atmosphere here at Valpo. So we'll be right back.
Valparaiso University, where passion meets purpose.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Valpo Day of Giving. Specifically here on VUTV, we're doing Tune Into the Valpo Experience. I'm Brendan Johnson, and I'm joined here by Professor Heath Carter from the Department of History. Now we're going to kind of shift gears. You were kind of mentioning that you're involved with the City of Valparaiso's Human Relations Council.
Right.
And that kind of impact, kind of informing the decisions that we make in the everyday world, and kind of how that kind of translate back to what we do here at Valpo.
Yeah. Well, I think like we've been talking about, I mean, partly here at Valpo, we think about we're not just producing facts. We're not just even interested, I don't think, in knowledge, but we're interested in understanding. And we're interested in the world, right? And so I think for me, I mean, there's a kind of integration here of what I write about, which is these kind of core issues of the histories of Christianity and social justice in the United States, with what I teach about, these classes like Hip Hop America, the last spring, the long civil rights movement, social gospel. These are all courses that are very much interested in that same intersection of kind of Christianity or faith and social justice. And then, in my own personal life, part of what this means is that, I've also, during my time here at VU, been able to get involved with the community. So this past year, I was named the chair of the city's Human Relations Council, which is a council that advises the mayor of Valparaiso about issues of diversity and inclusion here in the city. So for me, I mean, a lot of that stuff is, I approach that in part just as a private citizen, as a parent, and someone who lives in the community and cares about the community. But I certainly bring to that work my own reading and writing and understanding and my conversations with students. And it's been fun that, we had a meeting here in the city last week to talk about a human rights ordinance for the city of Valparaiso. And I was delighted to look out into the audience. It was quite a large crowd. Over 300 people came to this public meeting, and as I looked out, I saw a number of my students, people who had taken these courses, Social Gospel and American Life, the Long Civil Rights Movement, who were themselves bringing their knowledge and understanding that they've gained here on campus out into the world beyond. And I have no doubt that many of those students who showed up for that public meeting last week will go on to, as they go out into the world, many of them are getting ready to graduate, go out into the world and get involved in their own communities, either through the work that they're doing or through, other kinds of engagement, volunteer work, and whatnot. So, for me, in my own personal life, these things are very much connected and interrelated. And I think, as I've been here, this is my 4th year now, so I'm about to see the class that I came in with graduate, and it's been really remarkable to see the ways that our students integrate knowledge and understanding and the pursuit of truth, which is not just, I guess what they see and what I hope they see is that those things, it's not just about what we think. This is not a place that's just only interested in walking brains. We're interested in people, and we're interested in communities. And part of what that means is that, if the stuff that I'm teaching and writing about is going to be really worthwhile, it means that it's going to go beyond whatever's going on inside our heads, and it's going to come out in the way we live in the world. And I see our students doing that. I see our alums doing that, and that's again one of the top reasons I'm proud to be Valpo.
Awesome, awesome. And you kind of were mentioning that you're kind of informing, the higher level work that a lot of students do, student theses, and you also have your own book here, Union Made.
Yeah.
How does this kind of, method kind of funnel into these things? You're reading, you're writing, and also kind of, your involvement with this work that students are displaying.
Yeah. I was just talking last week with my social gospel class because they have to write a research paper. And I think, it's not easy to write a research paper. If you've ever written one, you may know. It's an acquired skill, and it's really an art. And so part of what the privilege of being on faculty here, what that means is that I get the opportunity to take students who maybe they've never done this before. A lot of the students in my social gospel class are feeling a little nervous right now as we're in mid-April and their paper deadline is looming a little nearer. But I get the chance to walk with them through that process. Where last year I taught the history senior seminar, which is kind of our capstone course, and we ask all of our majors to write a 25-page research paper. It's a pretty significant piece of work. It's the length that, it's close to the length at least that as a kind of practicing historian, that's the kind of length of thing that we would have published in a journal. So we're asking our students to, as they prepare to graduate to do the kind of thing that practicing historians do.
Sure.
And for me, it's just a delight to be able to work with students who, to take them from the point where, because we start in my field with a question, just something you're interested in. You want to know, why is it that, when I was writing this book, my question was, hey, what we know is that a lot of Protestant ministers were anti-union, but they had a lot of working people in their congregations. How did that work? They preach against a strike. What happens? Do the working people in the congregation just accept that, or do they push back? So I started there and wound up writing a book about it. Our students bring their own questions out of their own experiences, out of their own communities, and so the question is, I've got people writing about everything from the temperance movement and prohibition to South Africa and the theology of Desmond Tutu, who was a freedom fighter in South Africa. I love the fact that students bring their own questions, and then they have a chance to spend a semester or more exploring them, pursuing them, and producing some kind of paper that's a significant exploration of that question and is often something that I'm going to learn from.
Sure, absolutely.
It's pretty great.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Professor
you.
Carter from the History Department. Kind of talking about that core component of understanding, not just kind of getting those facts and figures, but kind of truly understanding, what's going on and what's in the field of study for any particular student. We're going to toss it now to Storm Shield meteorologist Elise Smith for our second weather update of the day. Elise?
Well, Brendan, Mother Nature is smiling down on us here in Valpo today. 42 degrees, sunny skies, some northwesterly winds at 9 miles per hour. And our Valpo day outlook looks pretty consistent. Cool and clear and sunny skies for us here in Valpo. Now, the radar shows this really nice, elongated cold front across the east coast. But here in Valpo, we're sunny, and we're going to remain that way throughout the rest of the day. Now, in the future, we could be getting some clouds into the area on Wednesday, but Tuesday will look good. A chance for snow in Wisconsin on Wednesday morning, and here in Valpo, clouds will drape into the Valpo area for Wednesday night, but throughout the rest of your week, we expect some sun, which is definitely a nice change for us. 39 degrees this morning. We're going to warm up only to about 41. However, we're going to have sunny skies, so I think we could get a lot warmer than that. Lakefront cities, though, will be staying cooler with this northwesterly wind, and throughout the night, we will cool down to about 32, arriving at 40 degrees for tomorrow morning. But take a look at this. We're going to warm up all the way to about 56, 57 even for tomorrow, and that'll be a great departure from average for this time of year. Today, 43 degrees, cool but clear with northerly winds from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight we're going to be looking at about 31 degrees, mostly clear. Again, some northeasterlies at about 5 miles per hour, so pretty calm winds for us. And tomorrow, 57 degrees, a beautiful sunny day. So you should probably want to get outside and play some activities, do some ultimate frisbee. I know they're looking for some great weather. And the 7-day forecast, man, it's beautiful. More sunny skies for us later in the week, and even 74 degrees on Sunday.